Commander Veltak watched the transport ship land with 4 tired eyes. Steam rose from the hot metal as the door opened slowly. Out stepped the newest recruit, looking small and confused. Kong-Wu put his feet on the cold metal floor of Station Nexus. All around him stood huge alien soldiers that made him look tiny. The Krathari warriors were 8 feet tall, with hard shell-like skin and sharp claws. The Veltani scouts moved so fast they looked like liquid silver. Even the Borth soldiers looked like walking rocks, and made Wu seem weak. "Look at this soft pink thing," said Korax, a big Krathari warrior. His jaw pieces clicked when he talked. "See how it shakes just standing here." Wu's legs did shake a little. The space station's gravity was made stronger for all the different aliens. It felt like carrying 50 extra pounds on his back. He held on to a metal pole to stay steady. The other recruits laughed at him. Commander Veltak looked at the human with his 4 eyes. He did not look happy. "You are Kong-Wu from Earth," the translation machine said in the space language everyone used. "You are much smaller than we thought you would be." The first tests were very bad for Wu. He could not lift even half the weight that the weakest Veltani could pick up easily. His hands moved slowly, compared to aliens who had learned to dodge laser beams and energy swords since they were babies. When they told him to break through a practice wall, his human hands barely made a scratch. The others broke through like it was made of paper. "He will work in the kitchen," Veltak wrote on his computer pad. "No fighting. Maybe he can serve food or type on computers." They took Wu to the worst sleeping area. As he walked, he heard pieces of talk in different alien languages. His translator told him what they meant. How did this weak thing even get here? And Earth must have no good soldiers if they sent this. The sleeping room was huge. Everything was made for beings twice his size. The bed was too big, the desk was too high, and even the water fountain was hard to reach. Wu felt like a child in a grown-up world. That first night was long and hard. Strange sounds came from the walls as different aliens moved around the station. Some made clicking noises, others hummed deep songs, and a few sounded like rocks grinding together. Wu lay on the giant bed and looked up at the metal ceiling. He thought about his home on Earth. His family had been so proud when he got picked for the Galactic Defense Corps. His little sister had hugged him and said he would show the aliens how brave humans could be. His parents had cried happy tears and told all their friends about their son going to space. Now he felt like he had let them all down. Maybe the aliens were right. Maybe humans were too weak for this kind of work. Maybe he should just accept working in the kitchen and forget about being a real soldier. But then Wu remembered something his grandfather had told him. His grandfather had been in the Earth military many years ago. "Size does not matter," the old man had said. "What matters is how you think and how you never give up. The biggest tree can fall to the smallest axe if you know where to cut." Wu sat up in the too-big bed. He looked around the room and started to notice things. The other recruits were all very different from each other. The Krathari were strong, but moved in straight lines. The Veltani were fast, but seemed to only think about speed. The Borthok were tough but slow to change direction. Each alien type was very good at one thing, but maybe not so good at other things. The Krathari had blind spots because their hard shells did not let them turn their heads much. The Veltani got tired quickly after using their super speed. The Borthok had trouble with anything that required quick thinking. Wu smiled for the first time since arriving at the station. Maybe being different was not the same as being weak. Maybe being human meant something these aliens had never seen before. He lay back down but did not sleep right away. Instead, he started planning. He would watch and learn. He would find out how each alien type fought and moved and thought. He would discover their weak points and their strong points. The other recruits thought he was just a weak human who belonged in the kitchen. Let them think that. While they laughed at him, he would be studying them. While they ignored him, He would be learning their secrets. Tomorrow, the real training would start. Wu closed his eyes and made a promise to himself, to his family back on Earth, and to all the humans who might come after him. He would show these aliens what it really meant to be human. He would prove that sometimes the smallest person in the room could be the most dangerous one of all. After 3 weeks of training, Kong Wu had become a joke at the academy. Everyone knew him as the weak human who could not do anything right. During strength tests, he always came in last place. When Korax, the big Krathri, could lift something as heavy as a car, Wu could barely lift half that much. The rock-like Borthok soldiers thought he was cute and would pat his head like he was a small pet. "Look at the little pink thing trying to be a soldier," laughed Vexera. She was a female Veltani who moved so fast during fighting practice that she almost disappeared. "Maybe we should get him a toy laser gun to play with." All the other aliens made fun of Wu, but he was doing something they never bothered to do. He was watching them very carefully. When they ate their meals and told stories about winning battles on their home planets, Wu studied how they moved and acted. He saw that Korax always turned to his right side because his left side hurt from an old wound. He noticed that Vexara always made her left shoulder tight just before she ran super fast. The Borthok brothers, named Grok and Grak, never attacked at the same time because they always waited to see what the other one would do first. The team training exercises became like school for Wu. The teachers always gave him the boring jobs, like carrying supplies, while the others did the real fighting practice. But this put him in the perfect place to watch how each type of alien fought and moved and thought. The Krathari were very strong, but they could not see things below them, or to their sides very well. The Veltani were super fast, but if you took away their speed somehow, they got scared and confused. The Borthok were almost impossible to hurt from the front, but their knees and elbows were weak spots. "Human, take these bullets to checkpoint 7, shouted Sergeant Dexmel. He was an old Krathari warrior with scars all over his shell-like skin. "Try not to drop them like last time." As Wu picked up the heavy boxers, he looked around the training area and remembered where everything was. He saw every wall, every obstacle, everything that could be used as a weapon, and every place that might give someone an advantage, while his teammates ran ahead using their strength or speed. Wu started to see things they missed completely. One day there was a very hard training exercise. Wu's team had to capture a fort that was being defended by older students. The Krathari on his team wanted to attack straight at the front of the fort. The Veltani wanted to run around very fast and hit different spots quickly. The Borthok just wanted to walk through the defenses and let the enemy weapons bounce off their tough skin. "What do you think, human?" asked Zethra. She was a Veltani female who seemed smarter than the others. "Do you have some great idea?" Wu looked at the fort with its thick walls and high towers where defenders could shoot down at attackers. "What if we do not attack the fort at all?" The aliens all looked at him like he was crazy. "But we have to capture it," they said. "Yes, we have to capture the position. But we do not have to destroy it or kill everyone inside." Wu pointed to a small tunnel he had seen during his supply runs. "A few people make noise and attack over here to get their attention. The rest of us go through that maintenance tunnel over there. We take the flag while they are all looking the wrong way." This plan sounded stupid to aliens who had grown up learning that fighting meant hitting your enemy as hard as possible. But they decided to try it anyway because nothing else had worked. The plan worked perfectly. While some of the team made a big loud attack on one side of the fort, all the defenders ran to stop them. Meanwhile, Wu led the rest of his team through the small tunnel and into the fort from behind. By the time the defenders realized what was happening, Wu had already grabbed their flag and won the exercise. "He just got lucky," said Korax afterward. He did not want to admit that the weak human had come up with a better plan than any of them. But Wu knew it was not luck at all. While the aliens had been bragging about their strength and speed, he had been learning about the training ground. While they focused on showing off their natural abilities, He had been thinking about different ways to solve problems. The other students still laughed at him during strength tests and speed trials. They still thought he was the weakest person at the academy. But now a few of them were starting to wonder if maybe there was more to this human than they had first thought. Wu did not mind that most of them still saw him as weak and harmless. That just meant they would not be ready for what he was really planning. He was learning their secrets every day, and soon he would show them what humans could really do. The day of the combat trials finally came, and everyone was very excited. For 3 whole days, students would fight each other one-on-one, using special practice weapons. These weapons hurt when they hit you, but could not kill or cause real damage. If you won your fights, you could become an officer. If you lost, you had to do basic training longer, or leave the academy completely. When they announced who would fight who, Kong Wu got matched with Korax for his first fight. All the students started betting on who would win each fight. For Wu versus Korax, almost everyone bet on Korax. The odds were 50-1 against the human. Korax had never lost a single fight in his 2 years at the academy. His sharp claws could block laser shots, and his hard shell skin could protect him from small bombs. Next to him, Wu looked like a tiny snack. "This will not take long," said Korax, clicking his jaw pieces in what looked like a smile. "Try to make it fun to watch. Soft pink thing." The fighting area was a circle 20 meters wide, with some barriers and obstacles scattered around. Both fighters wore special suits that would hurt them when hit, and fake weapons that felt like real ones, but could not cause lasting harm. The first person to take too much damage would lose the fight. Commander Velthik started the timer. "Begin." Korax immediately ran forward with his claws out, and his weapons shooting. It was scary to see so much alien power and speed, but Wu was not where Korax thought he would be. Instead of running away, or trying to fight the big alien head-on, Wu had moved sideways at exactly the right moment. Korax ran past him because he was moving too fast to stop. While the Krathari was still moving, Wu shot him in the side, where his armor was not as thick. "You got lucky," growled Korax, as he turned around to attack again. But Wu was already moving to a new spot. He used the barriers and obstacles in the arena, not to hide behind, but to control where Korax could go. When Korax tried to trap him against a wall, Wu jumped over it and made the big alien walk all the way around. When Korax tried to use his long arms to hit from far away, Wu got close in ways the alien did not expect. He slid under attacks, rolled between Korax's legs, and even used the alien's own big body as a shield. The fight went on for 18 minutes. Everyone watching could not believe what they were seeing. Korax was faster, stronger, had better weapons, and knew more about fighting. But bit by bit, Wu kept hitting him while avoiding getting hurt badly himself. It seemed like Wu knew where Korax would attack before Korax even decided to do it. The end came when Korax got angry and frustrated from chasing Wu around the arena. He tried to make one big powerful claw attack that would finish the fight, but he put too much force into it and lost his balance. Wu stepped aside at the last second and shot Korax in a nerve spot behind his left shoulder. This was a weak point that Wu had noticed weeks ago when he was watching the aliens during training. Korax's pain suit turned bright red. Too much damage. Fight over. The whole arena became completely quiet. Then slowly, a sound that none of the aliens had ever heard before filled the air. It was Wu, laughing with pure happiness and joy. "That cannot be possible," whispered Vexera. "He is just a human." But the big scoreboard above the arena did not lie. It clearly showed Kong Wu as the winner and Korax as the loser. All the alien students looked at each other in shock. The weakest person at the academy had just beaten their strongest fighter. Some of them started to wonder if they had been wrong about humans. Maybe being small and soft did not mean being weak. Korax slowly got up from the arena floor. His pride was hurt more than his body. He had never lost a fight before, especially not to someone he thought was harmless. He looked at Wu with new respect and maybe a little fear. "How did you do that?" asked one of the Borthok students. Wu smiled but did not answer. He had many more fights ahead of him and did not want to give away all his secrets yet. The other students were starting to see that there was something different about humans, something they had never encountered before. As Wu walked out of the arena, he could hear the aliens talking in worried voices. They were no longer laughing at the small human. They were wondering what other surprises he might have. This was just the beginning. Wu had shown them a tiny bit of what humans could do. Soon they would learn that being the biggest or strongest or fastest did not always mean winning. Sometimes the smartest fighter was the most dangerous one of all. News about Kong Wu beating Korax spread through the academy faster than lightning. What everyone thought would be a quick and easy win for Korax had become the most talked about fight of the trials. Suddenly, every alien wanted to understand how the weak human had beaten their strongest warrior. Dr. Yenti was the academy's top scientist who'd studied different alien species. She got the video recording of the fight and watched it over and over again. What she saw amazed her. "Look at this part," she said to Commander Velthak, pointing at the screen. "The human does not just respond to attacks. He knows they are coming before they happen. See here? He starts moving before Korax even decides to strike." "Can he see the future?" asked Velthak, his four eyes getting very wide. "No, he recognizes patterns. Humans seem to be nature's perfect hunting animals. They read tiny facial expressions, body movements, and environmental signs." This student watched his opponent for weeks before the fight. Wu's second fight was against Vexara, the super-fast Veltani. Because of what happened with Korax, the betting odds were different this time. Now, people only bet 10 to 1 against the human instead of 50 to 1. Vexara had a simple plan. She would use her incredible speed to attack from many different directions until Wu could not defend himself anymore. It should have worked perfectly. The Veltani could move so fast that she looked like Silverlight, hitting and running away, before most people could even see her. But Wu was not trying to see her at all. Instead, he had put small objects all around the fighting area. He placed bits of trash, empty battery cases, and anything else that would move when something fast went by. He watched these things instead of trying to watch her. When Vexara thought she was completely invisible and snuck up behind him for a killing shot, Wu suddenly spun around and fired his weapon at what looked like empty space. His shot hit her perfectly, catching her completely by surprise in the middle of her attack. "How did you do that?" she asked, breathing hard. Her super speed was suddenly useless. "You always make your left shoulder tight before you run at top speed," Wu said calmly. "And you move dust and small objects when you run, even when you think no one can see you." His third opponent was Grok, one of the Borthok twins. Grok tried to use mind games to scare Wu. The Borthok were almost impossible to hurt and could take huge amounts of damage. His plan was simple: walk straight through all of Wu's attacks and then crush the small human. But Wu had spent weeks watching how the Borthok moved and where their bodies were weakest. Instead of trying to break through Grok's rock-like skin, he aimed for pressure points and joint connections with perfect accuracy. Each shot hit exactly the right spot to cause maximum pain through the nervous system without wasting energy on the tough armor. "You do not try to break the whole mountain," Wu explained to the shocked audience after the fight. "You look for the cracks that are already there." Dr. Yenti wrote excited reports to Galactic Command after each fight. "Humans are something we have never seen before. They turn adaptability itself into a weapon. They do not have better reflexes or stronger armor. They change their fighting style in real time based on what they observe." Each day of the trials, more aliens came to watch Wu fight. They could not believe that the weakest student was beating everyone. Some started to get scared. If humans could do this, what did it mean for the rest of the galaxy? Word spread to other academies and military bases. Senior officers started asking questions about Earth and its people. How many humans were there? What were their capabilities? Should they be considered allies or threats? The alien students who had laughed at Wu just days before now watched him with nervous respect. They whispered to each other about how he moved and fought. Some tried to copy his tactics, but failed because they did not understand the thinking behind them. Vexera approached Wu after her loss. "I have been the fastest fighter here for 3 years," she said. "No one has ever caught me before. How did you learn to fight like this?" "I watched," Wu said simply. "While you were all showing off your natural abilities, I was learning your patterns. Every species has strengths, but they also have weaknesses. You just have to know how to look for them." By the final day of trials, everything had changed. No one called Kong Wu weak anymore. The word they used now was much more frightening to alien ears. Unpredictable. The aliens had always believed that bigger, stronger, and faster meant better. In combat, Wu was showing them that sometimes the most dangerous opponent was the one who could think differently than everyone else, as he prepared for his final challenge. Wu knew that win or lose, he had already proven something important. Humans belonged among the stars, and they brought something unique that the galaxy had never seen before. The final test was completely different from anything the Academy had ever done before. Instead of fighting one person, Kong Wu would have to fight 3 aliens at the same time. This kind of fight should have been impossible for any single person to win. The Academy chose his opponents very carefully. Bexmel was an old Crethary sergeant, with scars all over his body, who represented pure strength and power. Zerajan was a Veltani champion, who represented perfect speed and accuracy. Boulderfist Gromax was a massive Borthok destroyer, who represented unbreakable defense. Together, these 3 fighters had every advantage that the galaxy's warrior races could offer. They made the fighting arena much bigger for this battle. It now had obstacles on different levels and dangerous environmental traps, energy walls, turned on and off in timed patterns. Gravity fields created areas where movement became very difficult. The whole arena was designed to be chaotic and unpredictable. Military experts said this kind of environment always favored fighters with superior weapons and natural advantages. "This is crazy," said Commander Velthek quietly. "We are about to watch that human get completely destroyed." But Dr. Yenti watched Wu prepare for the fight with growing amazement. While his 3 opponents checked their weapons and talked about standard fighting tactics for multiple opponents, Wu was doing something completely different. He was testing all the environmental dangers, timing when the energy barriers turned on and off, and calculating angles and lines of sight throughout the arena. He is not preparing to fight 3 opponents, she realized suddenly. He is preparing to fight the arena itself. The 3 alien champions stood together at one end of the expanded arena. They looked confident and relaxed. Vexmol cracked his knuckles, making sounds like breaking stone. Zerajan stretched her silver muscles and seemed to shimmer with barely contained speed. Gromax simply stood like a mountain, unmovable and patient. Wu stood alone at the other end. He looked tiny compared to his 3 massive opponents. The watching crowd of alien students was completely silent. Many had closed their eyes, not wanting to see what they thought would be a brutal beating. Commander Veltek raised his hand. "This is the final trial of the combat championships. Begin." All 3 aliens immediately launched a coordinated attack. Vexmal charged straight down the middle with devastating power. Zerajan flanked to the left at incredible speed. Gnomak advanced slowly but steadily, from the right, like an unstoppable wall. It was a perfect tactical formation that should have trapped Wu with no escape. But Wu was not where they expected him to be. When they reached his position, he had moved to a spot near one of the gravity wells, just before they attacked. As the 3 aliens came together where he had been standing, Wu activated the gravity trap. Suddenly, Zarajan's incredible speed became dangerous as the altered gravity sent her spinning wildly out of control. Vexmel's powerful charge carried him past his target and straight into an energy barrier that shocked him. Gromax found himself alone and unable to help his teammates. What happened next was 18 minutes of pure tactical genius. Wu used every part of the arena against his opponents. He used energy barriers to block their attacks, gravity wells to redirect their charges, and obstacles to break their line of sight. He never fought all three at the same time. Instead, he constantly moved around to face them one at a time, while using the environment to neutralize their advantages. When Zarajan tried to use her speed, Wu led her into the gravity fields, where being fast became dangerous. When Dex tried his devastating claw attacks, Wu positioned energy barriers to absorb the damage. When Gromax tried to corner him with brute force, Wu used the Borthak's own momentum and the arena's traps to redirect the attack back at him. The alien audience watched in complete amazement. They had never seen anyone fight like this before. Wu seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He turned the arena itself into his weapon and made his opponents fight against the environment as much as against him. The end came when all three aliens, frustrated and tired from chasing an opponent who seemed impossible to catch, finally cornered Wu in what looked like a dead end. They attacked together, certain they had finally won. But Wu had been leading them to this exact spot for the last 10 minutes. At the perfect moment, he activated 3 environmental traps at the same time. Gravity wells pulled his opponents off balance. Energy barriers redirected their attacks back at each other. And Wu, who had memorized every timing sequence in the arena, slipped through a gap that appeared for just 1 second to deliver precise shots to each opponent's most vulnerable spot. 3 damage alarms sounded at exactly the same time. All 3 champions had taken critical damage. The fight was over. The arena became completely silent. Then slowly, Vexmo began making a sound like grinding rocks. The old Krathiri was laughing. "By the void," he said, "the soft-skin fights like we were still children, learning to hunt. You do not just defeat enemies, human. You make them defeat themselves." The respect in his voice was unmistakable. For the first time, the aliens truly understood what humans could do.